Hello guys, my name is IronMac117 and today I'm looking at this is something a bit different. I'm looking at Nerdrotic Star Wars Death by Mary Sue. Mary Sue, I just realized what I said, Mary Sue-icide. That's funny. I'm just gonna put that over here actually. I might need that. Yeah, but I really like Nerdrotic. I think he's got some really good content on there. He's gonna make some really good points, and I figured, why not? Let's do a reaction to his stuff. And plus, on top of that, it's actually quite funny. So, and it's all about how terrible woke shit is. So let's check this out. So 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Ray! Ray! Ray, I never told you Ray! Ray!
Oh God. Fuck.
I bypassed the oppressor.
Nerdrotic.com.
Disney had a rough 2023 with all of their catastrophic flops, losing billions on streaming, bumbling CEOs, and all the black eyes from the culture war. But there's some good news on the horizon, at least with one of their subsidiaries, because Disney Star Wars is saved. Again. I know, we've heard this one before. Star Wars was saved when Disney purchased it from George Lucas, until it wasn't.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Star Wars was saved at the end of Mandalorian Season 2 with the appearance of Luke Skywalker until they fired Gina Carano, and it wasn't. Star Wars was saved with Obi-Wan Kenobi until it wasn't.
Oh God, I hate that character so
Star
much.
Wars was saved with Ahsoka until it wasn't. But don't get down, you over 942,000 Awakening Wonders and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet, because after 10 years, Lucasfilm has finally cracked the code to Star Wars. This time it's going to be different, because this time, Disney Star Wars is going to be saved by a woman. And not just any woman. A female activist documentarian from the Washington Examiner. New female director says it's about time a woman shapes the Star Wars franchise, and that's an unfortunate picture below that headline. I can hear you now. Hasn't a woman been in charge of Star Wars for over 10 years? Yes. Isn't that woman an activist? Yes. But she's not a female of color activist. Haha, gotcha. And who is this first female of color activist to direct a Star Wars film and shape Star Wars? Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy.
Filmmaker and activist Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is
filmmaker and activist. Like, those are just two titles that equal red flag.
Age of 37.
Yeah,
she's also the first woman and the first person of color to direct a Star Wars film.
The question is, who cares?
Yeah.
And that's Star.
Oh, what the fuck is going on? Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Fucking hell. I am going to invest in a ad blocker thing, because fuck me, I'm sick of just like, oh yeah, no ads, no ads, no ads, and then you get a fucking ad. So 230, well, I guess it's 232 to future me. Let's do this.
Star Wars film just so happens to be the triumphant return of Rey Palpatine in the new Jedi Order, which should excite fives and tens of fans out there. And you might rightfully ask, what are the qualifications that led Lucasfilm to hire a documentarian to helm a multi-million-dollar Disney Star Wars film?
When you can play the woman card, you play the woman card.
Outside of that, as far as her genre experience goes, there's 2 animated features from Pakistan and 2 whole episodes of Miss Marvel. You remember the highly acclaimed show that nobody watched that led into a movie that nobody watched, The Marvels. What could possibly go wrong? Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, let's hear from Sharmeen. Maybe she is a lifelong Star Wars fan. Maybe she'll break down some lore. Maybe she will talk about specific movies, books, comics, or Disney Plus shows that inspired her.
I'm very thrilled about the project because I think what we are about to create is something very special.
Well, there's never been anything special about Disney Star Wars other than its inexplicable systematic destruction of the biggest cinematic franchise of all time and the destruction of beloved iconic characters through turning the mighty Star Wars into a platform for things like identity politics and intersectional feminism. But maybe she breaks the trend.
And we're in 2024 now, and I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far away.
Fuck me, this is hard to watch.
All the female executives at Lucasfilm, all the women in the Lucasfilm story group, Bryce Dallas Howard, who directed episodes of The Mandalorian, and Deborah Chow, who directed episodes of The Mandalorian and the entire series of Obi-Wan, who, along with a lot of men, have shaped Star Wars into a perfect turd, sure, except for Patty Jenkins. So technically, Charlene Obaid-Chinoy is the first female to potentially direct a Star Wars film since the last one was fired. But still, let's give her a chance. Maybe she'll talk about some specifics about what she likes about the story of Star Wars or a favorite character.
Insurmountable sort of, roadblocks, who tackle things, who fight to have their voices heard, who have inner conflict.
Oh my God! Oh, this is so hard to watch.
Doubt at some point, but then they come forward and they try and change the narrative on something, push the needle on something, win a few battles, and eventually create change within themselves and within their communities. And if you strip Star Wars of everything, that's what Star Wars is all about.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Okay, I thought Star Wars was about the rise and fall of Anakin Skywalker, who turns into Darth Vader, and later his son
I remember
joins
that.
the Rebel Alliance to take on the evil Galactic Empire, leading to the redemption of Anakin Skywalker and the defeat of Emperor Palpatine, a space opera that explores themes like family, heroism, destiny, and the eternal battle of good and evil, and most importantly, it was fun. At least until the Disney trilogy came along and completely dismantled all of it. You know what isn't fun? Activism. But again, maybe I'm fucking wrong.
Sick of it.
Charmin will prioritize storytelling over activism.
I think at the heart of everything, I am a storyteller.
All right, that sounds good.
That's
and
good.
An activist.
Fuck!
Here we go again.
My body of work over the last 20 years has been guided by my activism, and every single piece of work that I've ever created has a piece of activism in it. It could be very overt or it could be covert.
Fuck, I hate activists. This is why I was so...
Here's why you fail.
I was so tempted to vote no on that
there trying to run with the same old narrative that people have a problem with a woman directing Star Wars.
But
and
so
they even know this. That couldn't be further from the truth. What we have a problem with is an activist running Star Wars. If a dude was saying this stuff, I'd have a problem with it too. And most of this is old news. We knew she was directing the Rey movie. We knew she was an activist. And the only thing that set off the firestorm on the internet over the last few days was this statement on CNN.
It's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
Yes, and it is cringe that she was referring to herself in the third person. And that statement engaged the weaponized autism of the internet, and they started digging up clip after clip, including this one from 8 years ago.
What is the balance of activating a force for change, but also trying to permeate that patriarchy, that power structure?
Oh,
and
God.
Is that a part of the
I feel like Cartman from the Pandaverse.
And what's been the reaction to that?
Oh, absolutely. I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable.
To be fair.
Oh my God, you're kidding me. Fuck me. 740, me in the future.
In this video featuring 4 women, Meryl Harvey Weinstein as God Streep, Ava Biased Works Both Ways DuVernay, Jon Stewart, and
filmmaker and activist Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, the first woman and the first person of color to direct a Star Wars film,
was discussing the documentary she made about very bad things happening to women in certain countries, which is noble. It still doesn't make Charmin qualified to direct a Star Wars film. If Patty Jenkins wasn't qualified, how in the hell is she? Back when the announcement was originally made of
filmmaker and activist Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, the first woman and the first first person of color to direct a Star Wars film.
At Star Wars Celebration early last year, most of us just rolled our eyes. Yes, it was the most Kathleen Kennedy of Kathleen Kennedy moves. The woman who destroyed Star Wars brought back the female lead of the trilogy that destroyed Star Wars and hired an activist director to make more crappy Star Wars. But I do not blame
Filmmaker and activist Sharmeen
Oh God, stop, please, you're torturing me.
to direct a Star Wars film.
She just took a job, and whether she's aware or not, she was not hired to be a director, she was cast to be a director. Also, a bunch of Hollywood executives can do their little virtue signaling circle jerk. And yes, to state the obvious, the Rey New Jedi Order film is going to be a catastrophic flop if it comes out.
I know, I cannot wait for that.
It's not coming out until 2026. Well, aside from the fact that when my dog's crouching to drop a turd, I know he's going to drop a turd, and we can just ignore the 10 years of solid data we have from the diminishing returns of Disney Star Wars. Let's just go to another Disney subsidiary, Marvel, with the Marvels, who did something very similar. They hired an inexperienced female of color director that they paraded around. Apparently, they didn't give her enough supervision.
Well, the Marvels was shot during COVID. There wasn't as much supervision on the set, so to speak, where we have executives.
Fuck me.
there
Bob
really
Iger, man. You need to fucking drop dead, man.
And it turned out to be the biggest flop in the MCU's history. And the same thing is going to happen here, and it's all down to the one woman who shaped Disney Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy, a once prolific Academy Award-winning producer who was promoted beyond her ability into the worst studio head in the history of Hollywood. She should be bouncing her little grandchildren on her knee and writing them $12 checks at Christmas, but not making decisions for Star Wars. She's announced more projects than she's actually produced and fired more directors than she's hired. But thanks to the recent firestorm on social media, now we have a lot of new people waking up to this, including some of the political pundits who finally discovered that pop culture is culture and it's important. And the other people that are finally waking up are investors. But by all means, release the Rey movie, directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, the first female of color to shape Star Wars since the last female of color to shape Star Wars, Deborah Chow, with Obi-Wan, but not before the first female of LGBTQ plus to shape Star Wars with the Acolyte. You know, former personal Harvey Weinstein assistant Leslie Headland.
Yeah, the one who knew about all the sexual harassments that were going on.
Kathleen Kennedy and
she
her
gets
ilk divided fandom for years, but with her commitment to failure, they're bringing us back together. And with the release of the Rey movie, I have to agree with the critical drinker, it will launch 1,000 new YouTube careers. So Disney
absolutely.
Star Wars continues to commit merry suicide against my better judgment and my best interests. I have some unsolicited advice for Disney Star Wars, so listen closely, although I know they won't. It's time to stop. If, in the words of Razorfist, superhero films have entered their fat Elvis phase, then Disney Star Wars has entered the sightings of Elvis well after his death phase. So Disney, if you care at all about the legacy of the franchise
that fucking Galaxy Edge
billions
video,
on,
that is so
stick it in the vault, forget about it for a good decade, and maybe revisit it if you have an entire new regime. Disney can't even make Disney anymore. What in the hell makes you think they can make good Star Wars?
Nerderotic.com.
Yeah, I've lost all hope.
If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe.
Everything
if you
Disney,
didn't like what you heard,
with
thank
Marvel,
you for listening
with,
this long. I'll see you in the next video.
With, you know, anything really. Sorry, my eyes are fucking up. Yeah, no, just everything really with Star Wars. I've just lost all hope for Star Wars, Disney, Pixar, Marvel. They're just, if they make something good, it's like by accident, and that's the thing. It's just by accident. It's not on purpose, you know. And yeah, I'm just over that crap, man. I'm over the panderizing. I'm over the woke shit. I just want good storytelling and not being told that, you know, we're the problem or whatever. Like, that's the thing. I always thought about this, but this is something that annoys me about this type of thing. Like how the geek nerd community, if you want to call them that, already get a tough time. They already get made fun of in heaps of, you know, movies and skits and whatever. They get made fun of everything. On top of that, at schools, most of them get bullied. You know, I got bullied when I was at school. You know, I got bullied for liking these things because apparently it's not cool and all that shit. And now the studios, the storytellers that we looked up to, that we loved are basically now telling us that we're pieces of shit as well. Like, how does that... Like, it's a shitty feeling, you know? Like, honestly, like, I don't know what goes through their brain of, like, oh, tell them they're pieces of shit and we'll make money. It's like, no. And this new modern audience doesn't fucking exist, you know? I mean, if they did exist, why was the Marvels a fucking bomb, you know? Yeah, it's just shit, man. Anyway, guys, just thought I'd torture myself watching that. Nah, he's good. Go subscribe to him. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.